Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Victoria Skirbo speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's a Saturday and it's almost time for dinner, so I might get interrupted in the middle of this reading. But this wouldn't be the first time. This is actually the third time I've tried to do this reading. The first time was when I was on with Mary Ann from Revealing Light Tarot. And for some reason, um, we did 6 questions, and this question, there was issues with the internet. So this is the question that wasn't really answered. Then last night, it was too late actually, and I was exhausted, and I looked exhausted, and and I tried again, but I spoke too low, or there was an issue with my microphone. So this is the third time I'm going to do this. And this is, sometimes things happen for a reason. And this theme, the whole issue of Israel and Palestine is a very fraught issue. And it's sort of a hot button issue. And perhaps it deserves its time and it deserves its place on its own. Um, so let's see what. So I was thinking about how to ask this question. Um, I think from the perspective of the Israelis, I want to pull cards on the Israeli side, and then I'm going to pick cards on the Arab side, and then if I have time, I'll pick cards for both of them. I think that is going to be the best way to approach this. So this is on the Israeli side. So the present situation, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands. So this is aggressiveness, right? The Knight of Wands is on a, well, it's not so much aggressiveness. Of course, the Knights are always aggressive, right? They're out there exploring, but the Knight of Fire is looking for ideas and looking for um looking to put their ideas in action, perhaps, right? Their creative expression into action. It's not like the Knight of Swords, and yet it is still aggressive. So the point I'm trying to make with many words that are not necessary is that this is more of uh, a belief. This is more sort of driven by a belief of something. Let's see what's crossing it. Judgment. Okay, so the Knight of Wands is Netanyahu, obviously. Um, and he has a belief. I should look at his chart. Um, I can do his numerology. I don't know if we have an accurate birth time, but you can still see um, if there's an issue around belief um, in a chart, even if you don't have an accurate birth time. And he's being judged, or they feel it could, maybe it's not Netanyahu. Of course, Netanyahu is the leader of the country, and so on some level, he does express the feelings of the country, and Israel and of course Netanyahu are feeling judged and being called to the carpet and being called to the carpet. Let's see what's underneath it all. They feel surrounded by people that hate them. And they're actually coming from that place. I mean, when you think about Israel, it came from a place of the development or the establishment, I guess, of Israel in 19 in the after the war was really out of the bowels of a Holocaust. So these people were exterminated, and they feel like that they didn't, and they're not going to, and they're going to push, and they're going to fight this time. But are the Arabs really trying to exterminate them? Well, sometimes some of the countries say, death to Israel, death to Israel, all that stuff, right? So, there's energy on both sides here, but they feel like they have no choice but to protect themselves beyond the point what we might consider as reasonable, because we didn't almost get annihilated, right? All right, from the past of the fool. So, of course, it was a new adventure. It was a new Jerusalem, right? It was, this was coming, a rebirth of sorts, the state of Israel. I mean, it wasn't there. It had been smote, right? When the temple came down, 70 AD or something. Don't quote me on any of the history stuff, because I can tell you it's a vague memory that I heard that. It may not be the right date. So don't hold me to my dates, please, please. Not the historical stuff, anyway. What's in the sky? Um, Unfair tactics. Unfair tactics. Now, is that unfair tactics against them? Is that unfair tactics by them? Is it because it's in the sky, the appearance of unfair tactics? Um, so they're struggling with this, because some people are like, anything, I don't care if it's fair or not, anything so we survive. There are those who don't want to go down that route, right? So there's all different kinds of expressions of this vibration, and it's a seven, and oftentimes this is seen as stealing the weapons. But maybe that's what we need to do, right? We need to steal the weapons a little bit. Um, we need to stop letting people hurt other people. Stop being a bully. I mean, we were, for a long time, America was the bully on the block, and Trump made that into, cottage industry, for goodness sakes. Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different factions are having different feelings, different thoughts about it. But I think overall they feel like they're being seen as pariahs. That's what I think. I get from that. All right, now come the Five of Swords. They're not going to stop. I don't think they're going to stop. Yeah, this is some sort of power thing, and they're not. It's no. Israel isn't going to stop. How it's seen from outside, uh, Five of Wands, a tug of war. Um, Domestic situation, endings and beginnings. Okay. They may do something that is so heinous um, that it actually is the end of it. They actually like say, no, we're not, or perhaps that's happened. I don't know. I mean, the things they attacked, I have to believe that that weighs heavy on them. I have to believe that. They're good people. What? How could they not? Right? Um, hopes and fears. I think it's interesting card for hopes and fears, and that it became ill disposed. And I generally don't read ill disposed, but I feel like um, the hope is that you know uh, uh, the hope and fear has to do with an imbalance in um, I don't know, comfort or not being held accountable for something, and and then being you know tortured. What did you know the Germans did the concentration camps. The Arabs didn't. I mean, I know maybe it's more complex than that. I don't understand it because I'm not a history person. I'm not a person. I'm just kind of reading the energy here. Let's see the outcome. The Three of Pentacles. I think in order to continue to get funds and get money, they're going to have to go. It can't just be what Netanyahu or what Israel himself wants. There's other people in this picture. And the one up top, the one that's highest, I think, is America because America funds Israel. So America has to sort of help to ease this in some way, and then other countries as well, other countries as well. The European Union, whatever, or I guess the um, this might be the UN. This might be the UN coming in, um, putting a peacekeeping force in there. I think that's what it's going to take. I think that's what it's going to take for Israel from their perspective. And we have the moon as the outcome. So this is a deeply emotional and divisive. And the thing is if I, and again, excuse my history, but Arabs and Jews are brothers. They're like brothers or cousins, or there was a connection at the beginning. One went one way, one went the other, but they're together, right? And this is deep, and it's an illusion that they're different from one another, and they have to kind of, that has to come down. That has to come down. They're kind of the same. They're people who want to live, and they're people who want to um, have a place of their own, a little piece of land, a little connection. A chance for a better life. Um, that's what they want, the same thing. It's an illusion that there's a difference between them, but that's their illusion that they have to wake up to. And what's underneath is the King of Pentacles. So there's some sort of, let's say, financial gain for somebody, somewhere, or some group, or some institution where there's a financial gain that they're getting out of this. Kind of like in America, the prison industrial complex gains from, law enforcement coming down on people, even if they haven't done anything. Or, giving them these sentences 'cause they have to go to prison, then they build the prisons, and then it's like, it's crazy. Um, but somebody, I would say, with money is, or some energy, that has that power is really, pushing this. And the thing is, if they can come together and see themselves in their brother's face, then the person who's the big, like, puppet master, his power is gone. Love is a great healer. Love is a great uniter. And the more hate and suffering and deepening darkness that something like this creates. I mean, Israel was born out of the Holocaust, and it was a chance for a new life. And they're becoming very much like um, the people who tried to kill them. So they have to come to terms with that. And it's not decided yet, I think, from their perspective. And I guess not from the Arab perspective either, because they need an enemy. But I will pull separately because we don't want to just go by the Israeli side, which is what America does all the time, right? Let's see what the Palestinians. Let's pull some cards on the Palestinians. Um, I think I'm gonna use. Um, oh goodness gracious, where is that? Those cards, my mystical. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll use these. This is the Good Tarot. I haven't used this a lot, so this will be very interesting. This will kind of be very much a psychic reading, I think, with these cards. Oops, I thought I saw a turkey actually. The other day there was a turkey in my yard, but I missed it. Like the turkey was coming one way, and I was going up the hill, and the turkey. We were on other sides of the yard, so we did not meet. I did not meet the turkey in the yard. They're big turkeys. Oh my god! But they're funny, and they make that gobble sound, and they make all those, sound. And then when they take off, like if you really scare them and they fly, they're like, whoo, 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 whoo. It's pretty amazing, actually. Well, that lightens the mood a little bit, right? I think turkey medicine is about release. It's about release and sacrifice and a willingness to sacrifice. Maybe it's a willingness to sacrifice their beliefs that they're different. Maybe that's all they have to let go of. And they let go of that belief and they're brothers again. And they can build something together. That would be beautiful. People say I'm a dreamer, right? How does that go? People say that I'm a dreamer. My sister who met Ringo Starr in person is probably flipping around in heaven right now as I'm trying to sing the Beatles on my YouTube channel. I hope she appreciates it. Patty, my sister Patty, and a beautiful soul. Okay, this is from the Palestinians' point of view. So we start with the Ace of Earth. It all comes down to the fact that not only, I think at this point the Palestinians have come to terms with the fact they're going to have to share their land with these people who came in 75 years ago. But now they're taking too much, and that's what it comes down to. They're taking people's homes away, and then where do those people go? They're and that's it. That's the line in the sand, and that's what they stand upon. They're like, no, no, no more. Let's see what's crossing that. The Queen of Earth. Resources. Resources. They're so depleted because of the embargo. I think that's been since 2007 that they are just they're like, what else? Like they don't have like 33% of the things that you need to take care of. Somebody comes in and is like ripped apart. They don't have the gauze. They don't have, they're just making do, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. What's underneath it? The Nine of Air. The Nine of Air. I don't know if there's a belief in suffering. That is so like deeply embedded in the story that um, it's like you're creating your own hell. You know, the nine of through your thoughts. The nine of air is the nine of swords, and that's the woman lying in bed and crying, and all the swords are beside her. That's like mental anguish. That's anxiety. That's just like ugh. And it's as if the Palestinians are expressing that out for us to know what that in a way feels like for them. Kind of like when George Floyd was killed, we we felt it in a way. It was like a ripple. It was like a ripple. And it changed things. And I feel like energetically, this is like a ripple. And it can change things. Things can change and get better. This is a very powerful time. This is a Gemini card, and we have an eclipse. We have two eclipses. We have an eclipse, a full moon eclipse on the 26th in Sagittarius, and on the 10th, I think, or the 11th of June, we have a new moon eclipse, and that's at 19 or 20 degrees of Gemini. And that's really about letting go of a belief, right? The south node in Sag, and the two that seemed different, right? The Israelis and the Palestinians are actually the same. It's unity. Um, and so that is, I think, what's at stake here. In the past, the Seven of Fire, um, they felt they felt a certain amount of victory. Things did get better for Palestine for a while there, and then the hammer came down. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, this is we're talking about what 30. Let's see. I kind of became aware of the conflict um, when I was around. I think I was just out of high school, or maybe I was in high school. I was in high school, so mid 70s, late 70s, mid to late 70s. And then the apartment next to my house where I lived, we lived in a three family. And there was an apartment with a lot of apartments, a nice apartment, red brick and marble and stuff, one of those, probably like 1930s, maybe some Art Deco, right? That kind of apartment building. Anyway, a man from Jordan named Mustafa bought it. And so there were a lot of um, and I don't know where they were from. I don't know if they were from Jordan or if they were from Palestine. But he did have a lot of tenants, and the women would wear the things. And we were like girls from Jersey City. We didn't know the thing on the it was like kind of foreign. Um, but I remember that it was they were feeling them. They were feeling empowered a little more at that time. Palestine, I'm talking about. I remember that energy back then um, because I was in close proximity to um, um, Muslim. I guess I didn't even think about it. It wasn't even like a thing. It didn't matter, what their religion was. They just they had a lot of kids. Oh, what's in the sky? The messenger of water. They're asking for compassion. They're like, this is not right, people. This is not right. People have to see this for what it is. Um, and there's compassion coming their way. Yeah. The King of Earth. um, in the immediate future. I feel as though there's a I feel like there's um, an energy, a spirit of some sort that says, all right, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And helps people and the world to see how it really is. You know how, like, after George Floyd, people became aware how it really is for Black men. And now we're going to really become aware of what it's like to be a Palestinian in the Gaza Strip. We need to know that because then we'll change. Then it'll change. It's as if it has to catch the wave, and I feel like this King of Earth is that it's a real manifestation of a stop. You can't do this anymore. The Ace of Pentacles was like, all right, please, we're gonna fight this fight, but I feel like they don't have a lot to fight with. They don't have the resources. So how are they going to fight? They fight through influence of messages of love and compassion uh, for them. And love conquers hate, and love conquers fear. We have the High Priestess. This is how it's seen from the outside. I think what I said is what I see as the energy, but I don't think a lot of people see that, maybe, or maybe they do, and that would be wonderful. Domestic situation, the sun, people are going to see the way they're living. The Israelis can't get away with it anymore. Hopes and fears, the Queen of Air. Hmm. Again, I want to say that it's a very, very deep thought form that they, on some level, deserve to suffer like this, and I can't even imagine how that is possible, or if I should have even said it. Oh God, I have compassion for these people. I do. It's very, very bad. And it's hard to be an empath and know that there are people suffering like that. Even if you don't watch the news, you feel it. If you're wondering why you're sad, people, you're sad because of what's happening in Gaza. And of course, there are things happening all over. I know that. But that's where the attention is. And the attention is like, what are we doing? You know, you can't you can't conquer hate. You can't conquer hate with fear and hate. You have to. Oh, I'm getting called. Um, you have to conquer it with love. The Nine of Water as the outcome. I feel that that's uh, a lot of compassion, a lot of humanitarian aid, a lot of things are going to come the way of the Palestinians. Um, and then we have temptation, which is the devil card. Again, it's that energy of somebody in the other side. When we did the Israelis, it was the King of Pentacles. Again, here's another indication of the a monetary, some sort of monetary gain by this process. So I think that we have to really be page of water, messages of love and hope, and the magician. We can change it. So there is some energy that is holding on to this thought form of the Palestinians and the Israelis. And so what needs to happen is um, that needs to be shown the illusion that it is. The thing about the North Node in Gemini is that we have to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be, but as they are with the data. And we're seeing things for what it is. And then we're coming to a more balanced place within our heart. I mean, we're allowing, in a way, the awareness of the problem suddenly allows the energy of love to come in. So you have to know it's there, in a way, know something first, and then the energy of love comes in. So I actually think that this is not as interminable or unsolvable as people think it is. It is not. And I think we have to put a lot of love towards it, because I think that'll be very powerful in um, shifting the energy in the direction of love and awakening. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother. I am my sister, and he is I, and I am him. There's power in our coming together. And those who wish to constrain us want us to stay in the thought forms that imprison us. That's why at the root of Israel's reading was the Eight of Swords. What thought forms imprison you? On both sides, the Israelis and the Palestinians have this weird energy of feeling that they deserve to suffer on some level. But they don't. They neither one, neither one, neither one. Okay, I'm getting called for dinner. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Hopefully it comes out. I don't even know if it'll come out, but I'll find out. And if it comes out, you'll see it. All right, guys. Much love. Like, subscribe. Thank you for your donations. Thank you to my students. We're doing Kabbalah again. We're continuing the Kabbalah coursework. And of course, my astrology students. I love you, girls. There must be a guy in there somewhere. Yes, there have been guys in there. I love you all. Much love.